At least 5 people have been confirmed dead and tsunami warnings were issued after the massive tremor struck off the country's southern coast, shaking buildings as far away as Mexico City and El Salvador. A huge 8.1 magnitude earthquake struck off Mexico's southern coast early on Friday morning, and was felt across the region. The epicenter of the quake was 102 miles west of the city of Tapachula in Chiapas. Mexico's president said 5 people are confirmed dead, and that the tremor was the biggest the country had experienced in a century. Tsunami warnings are in place down the Mexican coast and Central America, with possible waves between 9 and 13 feet. At-risk coastal areas in Mexico have been evacuated. The U.S. Geological Survey said that significant casualties and economic loss were likely. Images of destroyed buildings have circulated on social media. A series of smaller aftershocks, including one magnitude 5.7, struck in the region after the initial earthquake. Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto confirmed that at least 5 people had died as a result of the 8.1 magnitude earthquake that hit the southern coast early Friday. At least 2 people died in Chiapas, the area of Mexico closest to the quake's epicenter, the state's civil protection secretary said Friday. Nieto said the quake caused extensive damage and left about 1 million people without power, though he estimated that about 800,000 of those people have since had their electricity restored. He said he believed the earthquake was the biggest the country had experienced in a century. There have been 62 aftershocks since the initial quake, Nieto said, warning that another large tremor could still hit. A major earthquake hit the southern coast Mexico early Friday morning, causing at least 2 deaths and prompting tsunami warnings down Central America. The 8.1 magnitude quake struck off the coast of the Mexican state of Chiapas, at a depth of about 20 miles, the U.S. Geological Survey said. The epicenter of the quake was located about 102 miles west of the city of Tapachula. Citing local officials, the Associated Press and other media reported that at least 2 people had been killed in the quake, though BuzzFeed News could not immediately confirm the death toll. The USGS said that significant casualties and economic loss were likely as a result of the quake. The earthquake was widely felt across the region, including in Mexico City, more than 600 miles from the epicenter. Images from the capital appeared to capture buildings and other structures swaying violently from the temblor. In Mexico City, people fled from shaking buildings onto the street, some still in robes and without shoes. Standing on a corner in the leafy Condesa neighborhood, Sophie Mallinger, a 24-year-old student from Belgium, said she had been leaving the bathroom at a house party when she felt the tremors. "I thought I was drunk, and I walked out thinking I was drunk, but then everyone was rushing out," she told BuzzFeed News. "And then I realized it was an earthquake." A half hour later, she was still on the street with a group of 6 other exchange students. Across the city, no one seemed particularly eager to go back inside, as they anxiously awaited potential aftershocks. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, said hazardous tsunami waves more than 9 feet high were possible along the coast of Mexico in the aftermath of the quake, and that waves higher than 3 feet were possible in El Salvador, Guatemala, and even as far as Ecuador, American Samoa, Fiji, and other places across the Pacific. Mexican officials warned of tsunami waves higher than 13 feet. Alejandro Murat, the governor of Oaxaca, asked people to evacuate areas that were at risk. However, NOAA reported that the Pacific coast of the United States, British Columbia, and Alaska were not facing the threat of a tsunami from the earthquake. A series of smaller quakes, including one magnitude 5.7, struck the same region in the minutes following the larger temblor. In response to the quake, Mexico's education secretary announced that schools would be closed Friday in Mexico City, as well as in Chiapas, Oaxaca, and other parts of the country affected by the quake.